we're Group 4BA, and I'm Marc Hignell.
I'm Juliet Gillam. I'm Jamnik.
Department.
And I'm Adedayo Kunle.
Changing the world of business, Formative, and the newspaper publishing industry. Okay. Firstly, we decided to describe what a business environment analysis is, and this is the process of scanning the environment to identify trends or changes. We use the method of PESTLE on the newspaper industry. Firstly is the economic, and we found that there is a high demand for online news, which will likely present an opportunity for the newspaper industry, likely to increase revenues and therefore profits. However, we found that there is a recession, or it's likely to be a recession, which is likely to lead to job cuts. This could present opportunities by increasing the level of skill within the newspaper industry. However, perhaps society will be more depressed, and it will be difficult to continue selling newspapers. And this, however, also may encourage efficiency.
Next, look at the technological side of things. Obviously, the emergence of the internet has forced changes in news sources. More and more news is available for free online, whereas before, obviously, you can only really buy it in a paper. This is interesting because recently Pew Research Center for People recently performed a survey, and for the first time in history, the number of people accessing news online is now higher than the number of people accessing it by purchasing newspapers. So it's 34% now online, 31% people buying newspapers. This obviously means that, because a lot of the services online are free, this is often costing some profit. As a result, for example, the Times newspaper now charges a £2 a week charge for online services, as newspapers try to increase their revenue. Otherwise, the other opportunity that people are trying to take advantage of is the emergence of devices such as the iPad. People generally think that it's a great opportunity to develop new revenue streams. For example, targeted advertising. So almost like the Google advertising system, if you're reading an article online, let's say on the Financial Times, they kind of strip advertising down the side, and that's targeted based on what they target advertising based on what you're reading. So if you're reading about sports news, they'll access that information and put appropriate advertising next to it. So that they are creating revenue streams, and while some new developments such as the internet may initially cause a fall in revenue, other devices like the iPad can potentially create new revenue. So it's a bit of both.
One of the next most important PESTLE aspects was the legal side to it. Most notably, we talked about the news of the world and the closure of that, which happened on the 7th of July, due to the phone scandals. And it just sort of shows how much law and that type of thing, that government legislations can impact on the industry. There had been a pitch by a few of the newspaper leaders about privacy laws being introduced, which could have another effect on the industry. Any unexpected events usually sparks interest into the readers. So that's another major aspect. It basically implies, or we decided that the newspaper industry it helps, I suppose, because there are always events happening. There's one negative which happens is that they may struggle to acquire information in places like India and China, because government restricts information from being found with them.
It's also important to look at the fact that news of the World Hacking Scandal means that a lot of sources for information now being cut off as governments introduce new legislation. So that's often changed, and that was highlighted by the news of the World Scandal.
Next is social and the PESTLE analysis that we conducted. And in society there are many changes and trends which will affect the newspaper industry. There is now an ever-changing trend of going online, and this could present an opportunity to the newspaper industry to move the majority of their news onto the internet. This is maybe due to the environmentally friendly aspect of life these days. However, these loss of jobs may create threats. This would also give them opportunity to reduce labour costs, as there will be no production costs, there will be no paper costs, and no suppliers to provide the newspapers. However, certain people like having a newspaper, and this may be a vital aspect of society. Next slide.
Okay. So environmental. There are already trends that are showing towards a movement in the production of newspaper within the industry that are moving more towards an eco-friendly way of producing newspaper where a higher fiber content of recycled paper is used. This indicates that in the next 3 years we should expect more newspapers to be more eco-friendly in general, and this would eventually help the environment and reduce the extent of the increase of the CO2 levels. The newspaper publishing industry is also one of the major emitters of CO2, since it not only in the manufacturing of it produces carbon dioxide, but also cuts down trees which convert carbon dioxide to oxygen. So a movement towards a more online and using technology to view newspapers rather than having a physical copy would eventually improve the environment. And this would also eliminate the need for distributing and shipping, which also have certain costs of the environment.
In conclusion, what has been said by all my group members, over the next 3 years, technological, legal, economic factors have a major impact on the industry. Using the personal analysis, we've brought out a few bits, which is 1, technological. So the internet has substituted the print editions of newspapers, and, for example, the Guardian and the Times complement the print edition with online versions and further updates throughout the day. So hence, newspapers don't have to print again, they literally have to now put up their work on the internet and make it available to people via tablets and their iPhones as well. And then economically, technological progress has impacted the economic side of the industry. Small companies go out of business. All small newspaper organizations now can compete with big-time newspaper companies such as the Times and the Guardian. So, hence, they're going out of business because of this. And the internet has an opportunity for newspapers to expand its production and revenue. With the movement to online work now, newspapers have decided to join that group. Companies that go on the internet to put up their work. So removing people from work who print out newspapers in the daily print every day to now moving into an online thing. Then the social cultural bit. Low internet subscription and search engines have changed readers' habits. The internet is available to everybody now. Hence, people get more of the news on the internet than when they pick up a newspaper. And the demographic change in newspaper readers as well has affected the newspaper industry. More teenagers are reading newspapers now because it's easily available to them compared to back in the past where I had just the elderly set of people reading newspapers. The politics is an important role in the analysis that we've done over the next 2 years for the newspaper industry. This is because the politicians have put in place strategies to make sure that online news is available for people. This is reducing the cost of the internet subscription because the internet companies are all government organizations. So internet subscription becomes easy for people. Now they can read the newspapers. And also we can see with this that the industry is going to see a short turn in unemployment because workers are going to go out of work from the printing press and they're going to have less people working, and those people are going to be in the IT department putting the news online for people to read. Overall, newspapers are not going to leave. They're going to be a part of people on their daily lives. People enjoy to do a crossword puzzle every morning when you're on the train with the newspaper. But if the newspaper does move online, will people get this chance to do their daily tasks, such as complete task puzzles that they love to do?